So in my last video, I wrote the introduction to Eliot's diary entry, and now I've started to recount what happened from Eliot's point of view. So let's read this first paragraph. We went to Stonehenge. I asked what the prisoner had done wrong. Virgo didn't know. She said he had been imprisoned for 2,000 years. That seemed unfair. So let's see if we can improve this paragraph. I think it's important that Eliot, even before he got to Stonehenge, was feeling some sympathy for the prisoner. So let's start by writing, my sympathy for the prisoner started on the way to Stonehenge. I asked Virgo what the prisoner had done wrong. Well, that's when Eliot began to feel sympathy for the prisoner. So rather than a full stop, let's extend the sentence. My sympathy for the prisoner started on the way to Stonehenge. We could have after I asked what the prisoner had done wrong, or perhaps when I asked what the prisoner had done wrong. Virgo didn't know. Now we know this surprised Eliot, so let's start this sentence with an adverb. We could have amazingly, Virgo didn't know. Or we could have astonishingly. Astonishingly, Virgo didn't know. She said he had been imprisoned for 2,000 years. Now at this point, Eliot was thinking if someone's been in prison that long, you should at least know why. So Virgo didn't know. We could extend the sentence with even though. So let's have astonishingly, Virgo didn't know, even though he had been imprisoned for 2,000 years. And let's have an exclamation mark there. That seemed unfair. Well, we can improve this. We can go into more detail about how Eliot was feeling. So, rather than unfair, let's have I felt angered. And let's explain why Eliot felt so angered. We could have I felt angered that someone could just be left in an underground cave with no human contact for that long. So let's reread this paragraph. My sympathy for the prisoner started on the way to Stonehenge when I asked what the prisoner had done wrong. Astonishingly, Virgo didn't know, even though he had been imprisoned for 2,000 years. I felt angered that someone could just be left in an underground cave with no human contact for that long. So now let's have a look at this next paragraph. I've written, we arrived at Stonehenge. Virgo jumped over the barrier and headed towards the hillstone. She was crawling around the base of the stone searching for something. She found a handle and a keypad. She began typing in the passcode. She pulled the handle. Then the whole rock lifted up. But security guards had seen what was going on and were running towards us. I jumped. We both bundled down into the hole. The hillstone came down. It trapped us. Now I think we can add more detail to these sentences, and we've got a lot of sentences starting with she, so we need to think about our sentence openers as well. We arrived at Stonehenge. Virgo jumped over the barrier and headed towards the hailstone. Well, that second sentence happened when they arrived, so let's start with when. Let's have when we arrived at Stonehenge. That's our subordinate clause opener, so we need a comma after it. Virgo jumped over the barrier and headed towards the hailstone. She was crawling around the base of the stone searching for something. I think we can leave that sentence as it is. I'm quite happy with that. She found a handle and a keypad. Well, she was searching for something, and it took her quite a while to find it, so we could have eventually she found a handle and a keypad. So let's start this sentence with the adverb eventually. And rather than just a handle and a keypad, let's see if we can get some expanded noun phrases into our work. So eventually she found a, how could we describe the handle? Let's have a small golden handle and a red ancient looking keypad. Or we could have an ancient looking red keypad. She began typing in the passcode. Well, she's typing the passcode into the keypad, so we can have a relative clause and extend the sentence which she began typing in the passcode. That doesn't quite make sense with which. Let's have which she began typing the passcode into. She pulled the handle, then the whole rock lifted up. I think we can combine these two sentences. We can say as she pulled the handle, or when she pulled the handle, the whole rock lifted up. So let's start with as. As she pulled the handle, we don't need the word then if we've opened our sentence with as. As she pulled the handle, the whole rock lifted up. Let's have the whole, let's describe the rock, the whole enormous rock. The whole enormous rock lifted up. And let's have a simile to show that it lifted up. Perhaps we could have as if it were as light as a feather. But security guards had seen what was going on and were running towards us. I jumped. We both bundled down into the hole. Well, let's see if we can combine these two sentences. I jumped, and after Elliot jumped, or because Elliot jumped, they bundled down into the hole. So I think we can start with I jumped, but let's change we both bundled down into the hole to I jumped, bundling us down, or bundling us both down into the hole. So we've got an ing clause at the end of the sentence, and we've separated it from the main clause with a comma. The hailstone came down. Rather than just the hailstone came down, let's emphasize this. Let's have the hailstone came crashing down. It trapped us. Again, because these two sentences are related, so the hailstone came crashing down. Rather than it trapped us, let's extend the sentence with trapping us. And let's make it clear, trapping us beneath it.